Alright, last section of this unit, 1.5, circles. Alright, I'm going to write down the definition of a circle. A circle is a set of all points in the xy plane that are a fixed distance r from a fixed point hk. Okay, so for example, here's a circle. If this is my hk, the circle is a set of all points that are exactly r away from it. So all of these points are the same distance away from the center. That's what makes this the circle, because all of these points are a certain distance away from this point. The fixed distance r is called the radius, okay? And the fixed point hk is called the center. Alright, the standard form of an equation of a circle. The standard form of an equation of a circle with radius r and center hk is x minus h squared plus y minus k squared equals r squared. And just a reminder, this means circle. Okay? Standard form of an equation with center at the origin. The standard form of an equation of a circle with radius r with center at the origin, 0, 0, is x squared plus y squared equals r squared. Which makes sense, because if you were to plug in 0, 0 for h and k, you would get this down here. Alright, the unit circle. Now, later in the year, you guys are going to learn a lot about the unit circle. For now, I'm going to give you guys just the basic definition of what a unit circle is. If the radius r equals 1, the circle whose center is at the origin is called the unit circle. It has the equation x squared plus y squared equals 1. So basically, the unit circle is a circle whose center is the origin and has a radius of 1. This circle actually becomes very important when we start learning more about trig functions and such. But for now, that's all you need to know, for this unit anyway. Alright, write the standard form of the equation of the circle with radius 5 and center 3, 6. Okay, so let's use this color. Here's my r, here's my h, k. The standard equation of a circle is x minus h squared plus y minus k squared equals r squared. So I'm just going to plug this stuff in. X minus negative 3, y minus 6, both of those are squared, equals 5 squared. The minus negative becomes a positive. So now I've got x plus 3 squared plus y minus 6 squared equals 25. All done? You guys can do the you try. Okay, graph this equation. So now we're going to work backwards. Let me change to green. So now, here is my h, here is my k, here is my r squared. Okay? This, my hk is going to be negative 3, 2. And the reason this is negative is because in the standard form of the equation, it's x minus h. X minus negative 3 would be x plus 3, which is what's over here. Okay? Y minus 2 is k. If r squared is 16, that means r has to be 4, because 4 squared is 16. So you're just working backwards here. And now we're going to graph it. So I've got negative 3, 2. There's my center. And it has a radius of 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So the circle looks something like that. Okay? Okay, example 3. For the circle x plus 3 squared plus y minus 2 squared equals 16, that's what we have up here. Find the intercepts, if any, of the graph. All right. We're going to do this the same way we would do this with a linear equation. So I've got x plus 3 squared plus y minus 2 squared. So to find the x-intercept, I'm going to plug in 0 for y. So x plus 3 squared plus negative 2 squared equals 16. Okay, if you guys remember the equation for perfect squares, you know that this FOILs out to x squared plus 6x plus 9. If you don't remember that, you can always do it the long way. First, outside, inside, last. X squared plus 3x plus 3x plus 9. X squared plus 6x plus 9, which is what I have here. But you don't have to do this part if you can remember the equation for perfect squares from Algebra 1. If not, feel free to rewind and write that down. Okay. Negative 2 squared is 4. X squared plus 6x plus 13. I'm going to subtract 16 from both sides, so x squared plus 6x minus 3 equals 0. Okay? So now I'm going to use the quadratic formula to solve for x. Negative b plus minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. I've got negative 6 plus minus the square root. 6 squared is 36. 4 times 1 times negative 3. You're going to get a positive 12 over 2. So you've got negative 6 plus minus root 48 over 2. 48 is 6 times 8. This is 2 times 3. This is 2 times 2 times 2. I've got 2 2's and another 2 2's, and the 3 is all by itself. So 4 root 3 is what it simplifies to. Negative 6 plus minus 4 root 3. This becomes negative 3 plus minus 2 root 3. So the x-intercepts are negative 3 plus 2 root 3, 0, and negative 3 minus 2 root 3, 0. Okay? I apologize. I apparently did not give you guys enough room for this problem. I'm going to have to spill over a little bit into this box over here. I'll try not to take up too much space. Okay? Alright. You're going to do the same thing when you're trying to solve for y. I'm going to plug in 0 for x. So I've got 3 squared plus y minus 2 squared equals 16. I'm actually going to show you guys another way to solve this for this particular one, rather than using the quadratic formula. Three squared is 9. If you guys remember completing the square, this is actually already set up very nicely for you to complete the square. I'm going to subtract 9 from both sides. 16 minus 9 is 7. I'm going to take the square root, so y minus 2 equals positive negative root 7, and then I can add 2 to both sides, which will give me y equals 2 plus minus root 7. It's actually much faster. I know a lot of people prefer using the quadratic formula when it comes to this. A lot of people don't like completing the square, but for these problems it is actually easier. As you can see, this was a lot shorter, didn't take nearly as much time. But this also gives you the right answer, so you can do it either way. So the y-intercepts would be 0, 2 plus root 7, and 0, 2 minus 2 root 7. So you should have 4 intercepts. And if you don't have enough room here, feel free to work on a separate sheet of paper. That's totally fine. Just make sure you staple that sheet of paper to your notes when you turn it in. Alright, graph the equation x squared plus y squared plus 4x minus 6y plus 12. Alright, what I'm going to do here, I guess I could keep this color. I need to put this in standard form. So I've got x squared. I'm going to move the 4x next to this x. Plus y squared, I'm going to move the 6y over here. And I'm going to subtract 12 to the other side. I did 3 steps kind of at once. I moved this over by the x, this over by the y, and I subtracted 12. Okay? This is what I'm going to do here. I'm going to complete the square twice. I want to get a perfect square here. If you guys remember, perfect squares, you're going to use the equation. Actually, let me do it down here. B over 2 squared. In this case, my b is 4. Actually, let me use a different color for this step. So here's my b. I'm going to do b over 2 squared. That's 4 over 2 squared. 2 squared, which is 4. So I'm going to add 4 to both sides. Okay? I'm going to do the same thing with the y's. Now this is my b. b over 2 squared. Negative 6 over 2 squared, which is negative 3 squared, which is 9. So I'm going to add 9 to both sides. Alright, so now I have x squared plus 4x plus 4. This is my first perfect square. Plus y squared minus 6y plus 9. This is my second perfect square. Negative 12 plus 4 is negative 8. Negative 8 plus 9 is 1. Okay? So, this perfect square, if you factor it, you get x plus 2. A shortcut is, it's going to be x plus or minus whatever your number was before you squared it. So in this case, before I squared it and got 4, I had 2. 2 squared is 4, so I have x plus 2 squared. Before the 9 was a 9, it was a negative 3 squared, so this is y minus 3 squared. Okay? So this is the standard form of the equation. Now I can graph it. Let's use orange. Okay? My radius is 1, and my HK is negative 2, 3. So I've got negative 2, 3. There's my center. Now I'm going to go 1 in every direction. Close enough. So there's my circle. Alright? You guys go ahead and try this one. Last example. Find the general equation of the circle whose center is 1, negative 2, and whose graph contains this point. Okay. Best way to do this is to graph it first. So I've got 1, negative 2, that's my center, and the graph contains the point 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, negative 2. So I've got some circle that looks like this. This obviously is my radius. Okay, so I have my HK, and my radius is 1, 2, 3. So my equation is x minus h squared plus y minus k squared equals r squared. There we go. And that's all.